All right, so the Borg mentality, government part 2. Now, pretty much this vlog is going to be me going over a lot of the content that I had in the video that was like an hour and 40 minutes long, but it had been struck down. Someone or something did not like what I said in the video, and the video was really long, and I probably should have made it shorter. But there's a lot of information in that video that I feel like I need to go over again, or, actually say for the first time, since it's been, shut off. And hopefully I can say each part of this, in the way that I want to say it. So, because they said they took the video down because of a conflict of what I said concerning the cold virus, when I have videos that are far more controversial from their point of view, and yet they're still up. So I think it was something I said that was probably too sensitive based on the government, and so they went ahead and they shut it down. And also it's strange because that particular video has far more views than any other video that I had posted. But the thing is, that video was taken down, but why does it have a higher view count on it since it's been taken down? So that is very strange, and I don't understand why that's the way it is, but that's what I'm seeing. So anyway, so the family unit, we could go back to that, is that the man and the women had roles in raising their families, and that it was their responsibility to raise the children. And if they weren't able to do it by themselves, then they would ask other family members to help them raise the children, or they would ask for help from their churches, or from their villages, or their neighborhoods. And that's what creates these relationships with others, that creates the strength and unity. It also creates the bonds that you need. So when an individual actually does something that's not good for the rest of the village, that person would actually feel some sort of shame or guilt for what they do that was not good for the rest of the family or the village. But today, because of the government destroying the family unit and giving money to people that you don't even know and taking it from you, it's creating a disrespect amongst people. People are no longer ashamed when they do things that are contrary to the society or the family or the village or the neighborhood they live in anymore. It's now, well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get my money from the government anyway, and I can go ahead and riot in the streets because there's no consequence for what I do, because I don't know anyone in this neighborhood that I'm going to trash. I don't know any of these people who that I'm going to hurt when I burn this car. This is all about. This is about the Borg mentality of society changing to where we no longer hold people responsible for the crimes that they commit. That we no longer make them feel ashamed for the things they do wrong. Now they feel like that it is our obligation to give them things just because they have a heartbeat. Because that's what the government does, is it automatically just takes from one and gives to another with no strings attached to the individual that took it. Okay? It's like they're a middleman. And that's what destroys relationships. That's what destroys families. That's what I talked about during my business part of part 1 and part 2 of business in the Borg mentality, is that when other entities get in between relationships with other humans, that's what destroys humanity. That's what destroys societies. And the government is a big part of that when it comes to DSHS, CPS, them basically just giving away free stuff to people, or taking control of the parenting because they think that what they're doing is incorrect and is not the proper way of raising a child. When in fact the government is the one that's incorrect in creating these stupid, ridiculous options in raising children and perverting words in society. The healthcare system has been taken over in the last 10 years by Republicans and by Democrats. Both parties have taken over the healthcare system. And now the healthcare system is in shambles compared to what it used to be. Because now anyone and anything can get healthcare without any care of where they got the help from. Okay? Just more dependence. And then with America, but the way it is, what do we make here? We've sold ourselves to foreign countries to make the stuff we make, right? Where's this wealth coming from if we can just print money out of thin air and these other countries are actually producing, and then we're buying those items with fake money? What's going to happen when those countries finally decide that they're not going to use the dollar anymore? And what kind of people does it make us to accept money that was just produced out of thin air? It makes us all accountable, all guilty of what is going on around us, because we don't stand up and say that what we're doing is wrong and it needs to stop. Okay? Look at what's going on right now. There are supply shortages all over the world, and why? Is it because of the cold season? No, it's not. It's because there is an interruption going on with the dollar and with supply and demand. There's an issue going on with the trust and the overinflated monetary system that we have now because of all this fake money that we decided to create for this flu season that didn't need to have, when people should have taken responsibility for their own lives, for their own problems, and not make it everyone else's problem. Okay? That is the heinous thing about us printing money out of thin air for this cold season. Okay? It is your fault that you didn't save money for a rainy day. It's your fault that you drive around in a giant pickup truck. It's your fault that has to buy the latest and the greatest TV set. It's your fault that you bought a house with a mortgage that was too much for you to afford. It's your fault. Okay? It's not my fault that you live beyond your means. You should have to suffer and struggle because of your poor choices, not because I have to give you stuff and I've decided not to. That does not make me the bad guy. You know, back in the 80s, we had Ellen Greenspan, and we had Bill Clinton, who created the housing market collapse because of the bubble that they created when they decided to introduce the fractional reserve banking. Okay, where banks could loan money that they didn't even have because it was based on the asset values of the homes that they had. So therefore, it created a boom of housing market, right? All of a sudden, George Bush is standing up there and he's saying that all Americans deserve to live in a home. Everyone should be a homeowner, even though they don't know how to take care of a yard and they're too lazy to take care of a yard. And they let the yard turn into shambles and shit because they don't have the discipline. They shouldn't have a home because they don't have what it takes to have a house. We don't just give stuff to people, like free education to people who do not care to learn anything. Okay? We have become so soft as a society that we allow these villains, these wizards of money, to produce these Ponzi schemes that we're all participating in today. You know, these bubbles that we create, the bubble with the dollar. Right? The dollar is insolvent, and we are all guilty of us continuing to use the dollar as if it is honest money. You know, we talk about, oh, but we have to vote for somebody. We have to vote for somebody. No, we don't have anybody worth voting for. Okay, Donald Trump was a horrible president. Donald Trump was a pathetic president. Okay, he was an embarrassment. That man... Basically, when this cold season came out, he didn't even act like it was anything important. And so all of the scared chickens that we have in this country, all these scared sheep, all got so scared and, oh God, what are we going to do? So what did they do? Oh, let's look at what China did, because China knows what's best, because they're a communist country. We love communism. And now we got riots in the streets and we have all these issues going on because people are so confused. They think that communism is the way to go. I mean, we are seriously a pathetic country. And Biden, what did we elect? I mean, if Trump was so great, I think Trump should have won by 65%. I think any incumbent should have to win by 65%. Because if you don't, that means you're not doing a good enough job. If you can't garner 65% of the population, then you shouldn't be president any longer. And the fact that it was Sleepy Joe Biden, Epstein-loving Joe, who beat Donald Trump, should be enough for Donald Trump to walk off the stage with his head between his legs and in a disgrace, right? Because he got beat by a crocodile, by a swamp-loving crocodile that he was supposed to drain, but instead he ended up getting eaten by that crocodile. Because Trump was a casino owner that all of these pathetic people went out and voted for. All these people who are corrupt, who are so worried about their 401ks, and they're all worried about their investments that they have. All this fake wealth that we created for ourselves over the last 50 years. We don't deserve any of it because we've been cheating and lying. This generation of people have not earned the liberty that is being taken from them. And therefore it is just that we do lose the liberty that our ancestors had fought for. Yeah, I mean, since the beginning of this video series, you'll notice that my tone has changed towards how I feel about liberty for Americans. I've gotten to the point now where, you know what, I just don't care anymore. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get these videos done. That's why these last few videos have been done pretty briskly, with much haste, because I'm tired of talking about it. I'm at the point now where I don't give a flying fuck about anybody anymore. Because most of you are pathetic, and I don't even want to associate with you. That's one of the reasons why I took down my Facebook, was because I was so disgusted in people who I even knew, that I realized that I was becoming a lone ranger, that I was becoming a vocal person in a society that didn't have ears. It's like I brought it up before, the Revenge of the Body Snatchers, right? It's like I woke up and found out, or didn't wake up, that everyone else fell asleep and turned into the alien, and I'm the guy that's the bad guy, because I'm the guy that's trumpeting the truth of what America is, and now I am silenced. I am not supposed to say anything. So now I feel like I live amongst enemies. I feel like I am stuck in a Borg mentality era where I have to keep quiet and to myself. Because if I dare say anything, someone is going to go, yeah, woo, almost passed out. But anyway, yeah, and so I'm at the point now where I've had to circle my own wagons and protect myself and my family from those who I feel that used to be family or who used to be childhood friends. I've had to protect myself from them because they're the ones that want to take from me. They want to take from me and give it to some piece of shit loser that doesn't give a flying fuck about his country. Okay, so that's why you've noticed the tone. I used to be pleading for people to wake up, hoping that someone would say something, hoping that someone would maybe do some action instead of just words. But apparently that isn't going to happen. So, you know, I'm getting to where I'm closing this series out. I think I got one more video I'm going to do, and it's going to have to do with people in fear. We live amongst so many sheep that even the way they drive, I have been going around taking pictures of how people drive in the last 8 months, of how, by their driving techniques, shows me that we live with extremely timid and weak individuals. So timid and weak that I do not see us surviving another 20 years.